Welcome to the Deep Dive. Settle in with us today because, well, we're about to unpack the incredible power hidden within something you likely do every single day, probably without even thinking about it.
Yeah, it feels so simple, doesn't it? Almost too simple to really matter much.
But our source material today suggests the opposite is very true.
That's right. We're taking a deep dive into walking.
Yes.
Walking. And our guide for this exploration is a really interesting article from Vogue, Korea.
It's titled, From Blood Sugar Control to Stress Reduction. This exercise you do every day. Quite the title.
It is. So our mission really is to go beyond just, listing off benefits.
We want to pull out the truly surprising stuff, the impactful nuggets from this article.
Exactly. Show you just how profound the simple act of putting one foot in front of the other can be, according to the experts they spoke to.
Okay, so the core idea, right
Yeah.
from the start, what is it?
Well, the article kicks off by quoting Dr. Lopez Jimenez from the Mayo Clinic. And he basically says walking is arguably the easiest, cheapest, and most effective physical activity out there.
It's so fundamental, isn't it? We almost completely overlook its potential because it's just there.
Precisely. And it's amazing how potent something so basic can be. Dr. Dahlia McCoy from the Cleveland Clinic, she lays out this, huge range of benefits.
Okay, let's hear them. What does she highlight?
Well, first, the big one, heart health. She talks about lowering heart disease risk, blood pressure, and that LDL, the bad cholesterol.
So it actually makes your heart stronger, more efficient.
Exactly. It strengthens the heart muscle, but it's not just the heart. She mentions stress reduction, help with weight management, boosting immunity.
And important, I think, it's low impact, right? Kind to your joints.
Mm-hmm. Very kind. That's sort of the baseline level of goodness you get.
Okay, baseline goodness. But you mentioned surprising findings.
Right. This is where it gets really interesting, I thought. The article links walking, just everyday walking, directly to cancer prevention.
Wow, okay. That feels like a major claim. What's the research actually say?
Well, the research they cite suggests that dedicating just, get this, 2.5 to 5 hours per week to moderate walking.
Which isn't actually that much when you break it down daily.
Not at all. And doing that can significantly lower the risk of several specific types of cancer.
And they list them out, don't they? It was quite specific.
Yeah, colon, breast, endometrial, kidney, liver, multiple myeloma, and non-Hodgkin lymphoma.
That's a serious list. It really makes you wonder how something like walking can have that kind of impact.
The article doesn't dive deep into the molecular biology for each cancer, but it points to the overall metabolic and hormonal health benefits.
So it's a combined effect. Improving the body's overall environment makes it less hospitable to these diseases.
That seems to be the idea. It's not just burning calories, it's influencing these, fundamental biological processes.
That's really compelling. Walking impacting core biology to protect against major illnesses. Okay, what about when to walk? People always ask that, right? Is there a best time?
Dr. McCoy says basically no single perfect time. The most important thing is just doing it. Consistency. Find what works for you.
Makes sense. But she did add a little something about evening walks, maybe helping with sleep.
She did mention that, yeah, a gentle walk in the evening could act as a kind of wind-down signal for your body, preparing for rest.
Okay. But then there's another perspective in the article, from biologist Tamara Pazos.
Right. Pazos suggests that if you can swing it, walking right after sunrise or just before sunset might be particularly beneficial.
And her reasoning, from her book mentioned in the article, it ties into our internal clocks, doesn't it?
Exactly. She explains that the light at those times, morning and evening light hitting your eyes, sends signals to your brain.
Signals that do what exactly?
They help sync up your body's internal clock, your circadian rhythms. This regulates, well, pretty much everything: energy during the day, sleep at night.
So walking in that specific light is like hitting a natural reset button for your body's timing.
Kind of, yeah. It helps keep everything running smoothly day and night. That light exposure is key.
That connection between light, walking, and our biology. It feels really significant. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. What about walking for, say, an hour every day? What does that consistent effort do?
Pazos points out it's great for building strength. Not just leg muscles, but improving posture, overall muscle tone.
And she mentions it releases beneficial substances for now and later.
Yes, substances vital for your immediate well-being, but also contributing to long-term health, like an investment.
And a big part of that investment is in our mental health.
Absolutely. Regular walking is shown to improve focus, memory. It stimulates the brain.
And potentially helps ward off future problems.
It suggested it might play a role in reducing the risk of neurodegenerative diseases later on. So yeah, you're investing in your future cognitive self with every walk.
An investment with every step.
Hmm.
I like that. Now, the article also got really specific about walking right after eating.
Oh yeah, this was another one of those simple but powerful points. Dr. McCoy stresses how important stable blood sugar is throughout the day. Those spikes after meals, they make you feel sluggish.
We've all been there. And the fix mentioned is incredibly simple.
Almost laughably simple. Dr. McCoy says just 5 minutes of walking after a meal can help lower blood sugar levels quite a bit.
5 minutes. Really? That seems tiny.
I know, but apparently it works. Especially helpful, she notes, for people managing diabetes.
So how does that actually work? What's the mechanism?
Pazos explains it. When you start moving right after eating, your muscles suddenly need energy, right?
Right.
So to get that energy, your cells start pulling glucose sugar straight from your bloodstream.
So it prevents the sugar from just sitting there and spiking.
Oh, yeah.
The muscles use it up immediately.
Exactly. It's a really neat sort of mechanical way to help your body process the meal better.
That's a fantastic practical tip. Just a quick stroll after eating. Okay, what about hormones? The article goes there too.
It does. Dr. McCoy brings up endorphins first. You know, the natural painkillers, mood boosters.
The runner's high chemical, though, you get it from walking too.
You definitely do. And she notes they can even help with chronic pain, not just a temporary mood lift.
Interesting. And what about sex hormones? There's a discussion there too.
Yes. Dr. Jimenez points out that regular walking can help lower estrogen levels.
And why is that significant?
Well, because higher estrogen levels are linked to an increased risk of breast cancer. So walking might offer another layer of protection there.
Wow, another connection to potentially preventing serious disease. Okay, what about testosterone?
Pazos touches on that. She mentions some studies suggesting that faster walking or walking uphill might give a temporary boost to testosterone.
Temporary boost. So not a long-term fix, maybe, but interesting.
Yeah, she notes it's still an area being researched actively.
And circling back to that morning walk idea, Pazos connected it to dopamine, didn't she? But not in the way most people think.
Right. People call it the pleasure hormone, but Pazos clarifies its main job is really motivation.
So morning sunlight plus movement boosts dopamine, which then motivates you.
Exactly. Increases vitality, focus, and that drive to actually do things you enjoy throughout the day gets you going.
Okay, that makes sense. And then wrapping up hormones, Pazos talks about the mood cocktail you get from walking.
Yeah, she emphasizes the double whammy, endorphins from the muscle movement, plus serotonin boosted by sunlight exposure if you walk outside.
Endorphins and serotonin together. That sounds like a recipe for feeling pretty good.
Definitely. She basically says in her Vogue interview referenced that this mental health boost alone is a powerful reason to just get out there and walk. Hard to argue with feeling happier, right?
Absolutely, a huge motivator. Okay, final big question everyone always has. Steps. How many steps a day? What's the magic number?
And Dr. Jimenez, again from Mayo Clinic, his answer is, well, it's refreshingly realistic.
No adjective.
Pretty much. He stresses there's no one-size-fits-all target. It really depends on your age, your starting point, your circumstances.
Can you give the example he used?
Yeah, he said something like, 6,000 steps might not be enough for a young, active person, but for someone older or less active, hitting even 5,000 steps could be a huge positive change.
So it's less about chasing some number like 10,000 and more about what?
Just integrating movement consistently into your daily routine. That's the real key, making it a habit.
And the article gives some simple ways to do that.
Yeah, the classics. Take the stairs instead of the elevator, walk the dog maybe a little longer, park further away from the store entrance. Tiny things.
Those little choices add up over time. And you don't need to block out hours every day to start seeing benefits.
Not at all. The article suggests even 15 to 20 minutes of deliberate movement daily is enough to start unlocking a lot of these good things we've talked about.
Okay, so let's just recap quickly. We dove into this Vogue Korea article, and walking, this super simple thing, is linked to better heart health.
Lower risk of certain cancers.
Stabilizing blood sugar, especially after meals.
Positive effects on hormones, influencing mood, maybe even protecting against breast cancer.
Boosting focus, memory, potentially long-term brain health.
It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it? How just putting one foot in front of the other resonates through so many different systems in our body.
It really is quite astonishing. All these potential benefits, supported by the experts cited in the article, stemming from something so accessible.
So readily available to most of us.
Which leads us to a final thought for you, listening right now. Given this wealth of documented benefits, all from just walking, what tiny, maybe overlooked opportunity could you grab today or tomorrow? Simply take a walk.